Alrighty, cool. I think we can get started. Yeah, so thank you everyone so much for joining. This is the Graph Builders Office Hours, where we try to feature, something interesting going on in the space, something that helps elevate your knowledge in building in the graph ecosystem. Really excited today because we have Charles from Pinax. Charles is going to be talking about the Substreams sync library, which is really awesome, and I think it's going to be a really cool topic to go over. So without further ado, Charles, if you want to introduce yourself to everybody, and then you can just take it away.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Yes, so hey everyone, my name is Charles, and I'm a backend developer at Pinax. And in this presentation, I'm going to talk about the Substream sync library that we've been working on to boost your sync development, and also the new features and improvements we recently added to it. But first, I'm gonna quickly go over Substreams and syncs to give more context. So Substreams is a technology developed by Streaming Fast that allows us to extract, transform, and use blockchain data from many different blockchains. Then this data can be routed to syncs that will let us do whatever we want with it. So it could be used for storing in a MySQL database, MongoDB, Redis. But the sync development quickly got repetitive and created a lot of duplicate boilerplate code. So with the Substream sync library, we regrouped all of the duplicate code in one place. It comes with built-in sync commands. It generates Prometheus metrics, provides logging, also adds consistency to our sync development process. And of course, there's now way less boilerplate code required to have something up and running. It's made in TypeScript, and it's easy to use. You just need to install the npm package in your project. So here is currently how we are using the Substream sync library for our projects. And as you can see, the Substream sync webhook and Substream sync socials are used in other syncs, but essentially are built on top of the Substream sync library. So now I'm gonna go over the recent changes that we brought to the library. First, we added environment variable support for all the command line options. So instead of having to specify your options values on inside of the command, you can do it through environment variables or with a .env file. We also made some changes to the authentication to the Substream servers. So the token generation can now be done using the API key instead of giving the token itself. The user can also specify the URL to use to issue the token with the issue URL command line option. There's also now an alternative to the file cursor with the possibility to give a URL to the cursor path command line option to specify where to fetch and store the cursor content. Also, we brought changes to the Prometheus metrics by adding more of them, like the trace ID and other session-specific data, and made the metrics accessible from the /metrics endpoint. Also, users can now set custom headers that will be sent to the Substream server using the headers command line option. So this could be useful if you want, for example, if you have different behaviors depending on what headers are sent by your sync. Now the sync will automatically stop instead of hanging if not receiving any messages from the Substream server after a specified amount of seconds using the restart inactivity seconds option. We also added a health check endpoint to monitor the state of the sync. And finally, we added the list command to see Substream compatible modules. So now I'm going to show you how we are using the Substream sync library in a Discord sync, and also go over some of the cool new features we added to the library. So I'm gonna change my screen share to my code editor. Yeah, so this is the code for the Discord sync. So I'll start with the CLI.ts file. So in this file, it is everything related to handling the command line option. Sorry. So we do this using the commander object exposed by the Substream sync library. So this commander object is built using the commander npm package to handle CLI stuff and contains built-in sync commands and options. So we use it to initialize the program for the sync and add to the run command the to add to the run command the option for specifying the Discord API token right here. So I can show you what's inside of this commander object inside of the Substream sync. So here is all the built-in command line options we have included in the commander object. So as you can see, there's a lot, and I'm going to go over some of them later in the demo when I'm going to actually run the command. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the CLI.ts file. And also, yeah, as you can see here, there's the commander social object also coming this time from the Substream sync socials, which we saw in the diagram earlier in the presentation. And this object only has a purpose to add the config command line option, that we use in all of our socials related syncs, so Discord, Telegram, Slack. But yeah, I won't talk too much about this because it's more related specifically to, like I said, socials sync. So yeah, and here we finally we specify the function that will be executed when running the run command for our sync. So now I'm going to go in the discord.ts file, and in this file we have the Discord class that takes care of creating the Discord bot client, and also the send text message and send embed message methods that pretty self-explanatory. They send Discord messages. So yeah, everything in there is what is sort of the Discord related code. And now we can go in the index.ts file. This is where we'll find the code for the action function that will be executed when executing that run command that we saw earlier in the CLI.ts file. So I'm not gonna go too much. So like I said, this is pretty much our main function for our sync. So I'm not going to go too much into details regarding the code specific to the Discord sync. Instead, I want to focus more on the Substreams sync library elements. So the first thing we need when creating our action function is to use the setup function coming from the Substream sync library to get the Substreams event emitter. So that's what we will use to get the blockchain data sent to us by the Substream. So here is, I also wanted to show what are the other values that you can get from the setup function. So there's the Substream package, start cursor, module hash. But in this example, we only really use the emitter. So then in our case, we need to read the config file, but again, that's really just a social sync specific step. So you don't need to do this for all of your syncs. This is really for the Discord sync. And I'm going to also show you later what this config file is all about. So yeah. And here inside of the emitter.on function is where we are handling the blockchain data received from the Substream. So in our case, we do some formatting of the blockchain data, then use our Discord class methods from earlier to send messages depending on some elements from the config file. So yeah, and then we start our HTTP server using the HTTP object from, again, the Substream sync library. Oh, and also there's a logger included in the Substream sync library that we are using here. So every time we are sending a message, we will log something in the terminal. Yep, so I was here at the http.listen function. So this server will be used for the Prometheus metrics and also for the health check endpoint of our sync. And finally, if we want to receive the Substreams data, for all of this to work, we need to run the emitter.start function. And you'll have to stop your HTTP server after that to allow the sync process to stop when the sync is done processing blocks if you've set a stop block value. So, like I said, also I need to show you the config file for the Discord sync. But again, this format of config file is used in all of our socials related syncs. So, like I said, Telegram, Discord, Slack, to specify how and where we want to receive our messages. So in that case, our Discord messages. So it supports entity out and graph out modules, Substreams modules. So if your Substreams doesn't have a sync out, like doesn't send entity out or graph out message types, it won't really work because the sync assume that they will come as entity or graph out, which they are pretty much the same. So here we are saying that if the entity type is of the message received from the Substream is transfer, we want to do this. So same here. Also, we specify the type of receiver. So here it's a user, and here it will be a channel. A thread is also considered as a channel in the eyes of the Discord bot. And here are the chat IDs. So here will be my channel ID, and here the user ID. And it supports multiple. So you can send a message to multiple channels when it's received from the Substream. And it also supports TTS, but of course, for now, I set it to false. And the message, the final step, of course, is the format of the message we want to send on Discord is supporting templating. So here we say that we want the from value coming from the Substream message to go here, and it will be in bold, and here will be the transaction ID, and here the to. Because then I forgot to mention that in this example we will use this Substream, which is the EOSIO token as Substream, so like token transfers on chain. And so back to the config. So also it supports embed message type, so you can have nice embed message sent by your bot on Discord. And it's also supporting because now the config file that I'm showing is JSON format, but it can also support YAML. But again, this is really a Discord sync, social sync specific nice feature. So this is how you would code your sync using the Substream sync library. And now we're going to go over some of the built-in features from the library and also run the sync to receive some blockchain data as Discord messages. All right, so yeah. So one of the new features we added recently added is that you can now use the list command to see which modules are compatible with the given substream. So again, here it's going to be the EOSIO token substream. So I'm going to run this, and here we can see that it supports map transfers, map accounts, map stat, graph out, KV out, DB out, DB out module name. So I could use any of these, but in our case, we want to use the graph out module. So because, like I mentioned before, the social sync, they only handle our social sync, they only handle the graph out or entity out module name, modules, yeah. And now we are going to run our sync using this command. And as you can see, other than the config, the path for the config file as a command line option, there isn't much. It's because we're using the, now in this example, I'm using the new environment variable support, and everything is stored in the .env file. So here is my substreams endpoint, my substream package. So like I said, it's going to be all the EOSIO token transfer on the EOS chain because I'm using a EOS substream, and I'm using the graph out module. And also with this command, I'm going to run the sync and use the new cursor path functionality that I mentioned in the presentation earlier that allows me to write and fetch the cursor from a URL. So for this example, I made a small API that that accepts get and put methods to fetch and modify the cursor value stored in a variable, so directly in the API's code. So I'm going to start the sync, and once it's started, I should receive, sometimes it happens, the connection between the substream server. So hopefully it will, okay. So yeah, now I'm getting bombarded by the substream bot. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, you haven't seen any like Discord token because I obviously didn't put it in the .env file. I put it in an environment variable directly from my terminal. So now I'm gonna switch my screen because I want to show you the message that I'm receiving from the bot. And yeah, so I'm switching to Discord. I have created a test channel just to receive the messages. So as you can see, it's receiving the blockchain data formatted as a nice looking Discord message. And if you remember, I set it to send it in this channel and also as a private message to me with the embed format. So there you go, you have your embed message blockchain data sent to you in Discord. So now I'm gonna switch to I'm gonna switch to the browser to show you the metrics endpoint and also the health check endpoint. So here is the metrics that the sync come built in with. So you have that are coming also from the HTTP server that we mentioned earlier in the index.ts code. So these are the basic metrics we provide. So the session trace ID, there's also the module hash, the manifest, the head block timestamp, head block time drift, head block number. And now I'm going to show you the health check. So it's just the health check URL. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the demo. I don't think I forgot anything. So now I'm gonna go back to my presentation. So so what's next now for the Substreams sync library? So first we want to improve the CLI by adding more visual elements and also show the processing progress from the CLI. Also, we have to update the library since there's recurrent updates to the Substreams technology by the Streaming Fast team. Also, we potentially want to add open telemetry to the library. The documentation needs to be updated, and also there's some other small improvements and bug fixes. And yeah, I also want to talk about the new Substream sync template, which is a GitHub template that we created to make the sync creation process even faster. So this template contains the boilerplate code for a working sync project using the Substream sync library, and you can find it now on the Pinax GitHub. And it also includes binary generation scripts, but yeah, I didn't show it with the Discord sync because I'm having issues making it work for the Discord sync specifically. But usually you can also generate a binary for the sync command. So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the presentation. I hope you saw how the Substream sync library could help you in your sync development. And yeah, thanks everyone and for listening. And if there's any question, I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, it was really awesome. Really cool demo. I'm wondering if there's any other examples that you can kind of talk about too. I saw there's one for Telegram too as well. Is that working?
Yeah, but to set it up, I'll have to...
Or maybe just like talk about which examples there are. You don't have to actually do a demo or anything like that.
Okay. Maybe I can talk.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you show the slide? I might have missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, but I can go more into details of the syncs. But yeah, and also more in details into with the sync socials. So the sync socials contain sort of the send message loop, and also there's a queue. It's using PQ in the background also to prevent the sync from being rate limited. And however, for the Discord sync, we had to do some Discord sync specific changes, like because it supports embed message and not. I don't think maybe Telegram supports embed message, but I don't think Slack did. So, but they are really essentially the same since they all use the sync socials library, which again is built on top of the Substream sync. There's also the Substream sync properties that we use a lot, and also they are pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, sorry I can't really show quickly the Telegram sync working example because I have to do some setup.
Yeah. No, this is good enough. Yeah, sorry, I just totally missed this slide. So this is awesome. Yeah, it's really cool to see all the examples that are spawning out of the sync stuff. That's really awesome. Yeah, okay. So does anyone else have a question about the Substream sync library for Charles or anything that they want to bring up?
Again, I can post some links also in the chat.
That would be
or
great.
the repos.
Yeah, that would be great. I did post the Discord one that you were showing the demo, but yeah, if you could maybe post some of the repos, that would be really cool. And yeah, I mean, how can people get involved? Like, what are you guys looking for? Are you guys looking for other people to, maybe build more syncs? Is there anything, that you want to call out to the community to get help with?
Of course, if people start building syncs using the Substream sync library, there's probably going to be some new ideas for the Substream sync library that are going to pop up, and also improvement. Yeah, like I said, new ideas, improvement ideas. Also, maybe find some bugs in it. So, yeah, just using the Substream sync library, creating new syncs with it. Yep. And all of this is
Awesome.
Of course, open source. So, and I sent the link in the chat. So for the Substream sync template repo. So if you want to start a new project using the Substream sync library, you can just start from this, from there, and yeah, you're pretty much good to go.
Thank you, Charles. All right. Any more questions for Charles? Great. Well, thank you so much, Charles. I think that was really cool. It was a really cool demo. And yeah, I'm excited to see what people use that for. So really, really cool. Thank you so much, everyone. So does anyone else have anything they want to bring up about the graph, or any other questions you want to ask about anything else specifically? Yeah, that really was a great demo. It was really cool. I'm really excited, like I said, to see. It'd be cool if we actually do something like the Graph Protocol Discord or something, or maybe in like the Builders DAO. I don't know. Figure out a channel to stream some stuff. But yeah, it's really cool. Okay. Well, so we'll kind of keep the office hours open for the rest of the time. So if anyone has questions, we'll basically stop recording at this point. But you guys can feel free to ask questions. Come off of mute. We'll just keep it open for the next 30 minutes. So thank you, guys.